As a kid, there was nothing more I wanted than to reach the stars. I viewed them from my terrace back home in Southeast Asia, and I was marveled by them. And as my admirations for the stars grew, I did as well, and those illustrious nights admiring the different constellations became nights completing the next day's physics homework. Very recently, a friend of mine on Discord sent me a manga titled Insomniacs After School, and me being the critical kid I am, of course I thought it'd be some generic run-in-the-mill slice of life about an insomniac kid. But even reading as little as 5 chapters, I was taken aback by the absolute treasure that this manga was. I'm an insomniac myself. I barely sleep about 3 to 4 hours on a good night due to various personal reasons, so I found that aspect quite relatable in the manga. But that wasn't the only reason why I was amazed by Makoto Ojiro's work. Rather, I was absolutely stunned by how well she crafted a concept of how a world around a person without passion works. A world where a couple of kids, though they vastly may differ in personalities, share the same dull lives without their reason of fulfillment or happiness. I felt sort of empathetic and saw versions of myself in the characters. These felt like kids who simply went through the motions of life, much like I did. They had personal issues, troubles barging them, and well, didn't magically solve them. Rather, they found a passion which helped bring a mechanism to cope with their problems. So before I go ahead, let me just give a quick spoiler-free synopsis on what this manga exactly is about. We start the manga off following a boy named Ganta Nakami, who showcased to have a very cranky and bitter personality. He's seen to be a guy who sort of keeps to himself and oftentimes ends up on the poorer side of his peers. We quickly come to know this is due to the sleeping problem he has, where he can't get a wink of sleep on days on end. One day, while running some errands, Ganta stumbles upon the astronomy club, where he finds a girl sleeping, and this girl's name is Isaki Magiri, a cheerful and sociable person from class. After some dialogue between the two, we come to know that they both share a similar sort of issue of insomnia, and in little time we establish a very powerful chemistry between the two main characters. Both Isaki and Ganta find the astronomy club as a place of solace, where they both can sleep in peace. But through the means of the club, they also pick up a very latent hobby in taking pictures of the stars above, and from that point on, we find that their journey begins, and ours with them. To me, one of the greatest traits of this manga was giving us an instant hook into the relatability of the characters. We've seen these archetypes of characters before. Take for example I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, where we had a not so social boy and a very social girl. But because we see both Ganta and Isaki have such a fluid and natural progression of characterization and development, at no point does the cliched archetype barge out at you. Rather, it lets you simmer with the characters and shows you why each character are the way they are. We even get to see the mundane parts of their everyday life. We see them battle small setbacks, and that allows the readers to immerse themselves in their shoes and live out the experiences that the characters themselves are going through. Though the characters are good, I feel like the story would fall flat without the stunning art. The art is so detailed to the point that it feels like lazy elegance. By the term lazy elegance, I mean that it's so laid back, it sort of emulates a nostalgic vibe. As a person from a small town in Asia, the environment and the activities depicted in the manga just hit me. It made me sit there and think back on the similar times I had while I was growing up. I remember a scene in the manga where Ganta got so frustrated at poor weather ruining his stargazing experience that he ran out in the pouring rain out of sheer frustration, and that instantly reminded me of the times I had as a kid when the rain would ruin the summer fun. But setting aside the relatable scenarios, I feel like the art on screen right now should clarify the ambience of nostalgia and lazy elegance I was referring to. It's just plain beautiful to see. You gotta sit back and admire some of the double page spreads, and overall the paneling of the series is just impeccable. If I were to give a manga akin to Insomniacs After School, it'd probably be Oyasumi Punpun. And I know that's a very massive comparison to make, but the art really does match up to the greatest Asano has to offer. But rest assured, the story is nothing similar to the dark themes of Punpun. Rather, it's the opposite. It's a really wholesome story in the most human way possible. The wholesomeness of this manga is shared in the moments of Eureka the two simplistically drawn main characters have in the chill and quiet panels. Once again, I'm heaping praise for the artwork, but it's really well justified. Due to the narrative involving two insomniacs often alone at night, we get to see these beautiful portrayals of one-to-one intimate interactions between the two of them, and it adds so much more to the vibe and the ambience of the series as a whole. Now that I've covered the art as well as the characters, I can finally move on to talking about why this manga's purpose meant so much to me, and why it made me sit there at the end emotionally reflecting on my days growing up. As I mentioned before, I too am a bit of an insomniac and I don't sleep much at all, and this is due to some personal reasons, and I found the reasoning quite similar to our main protagonist in one way or another. Again, I had to bring in the high degree of relatability you feel while reading this story. But either way, I found the narrative significance of finding something worthy of coping with stressful personal times a beautiful showcase in the manga. There are one too many stories that simply say that if you get friends, life's hardships will magically go away, and this manga doesn't do that. Rather, it shows the process of that occurring, and how finding a passion in life can alter how you perceive things, especially if it's a passion shared with other people. If you've seen my video on Bakuman, another story which impacted me massively, you would know that at a point in time I wasn't getting anywhere. I was stagnant in growth, and at that point in time, Bakuman helped me get out of that loop into a forward momentum in life. But this manga now helped me reflect on those times I had. How, if I had not found my passion to achieve excellence in academia and sports, I'd have been throwing away so many beautiful moments I had in my life afterwards. You quite possibly heard the quote, "It's the little things in life that matter." Well, if you want to ever see that quote visualized in the manga medium, I recommend you give this series a shot. It'll more than likely hit a pause in your life and just make you sit there and think. Think about the little points of inflection in your life in the most beautiful manner possible. As I write this little conclusion at 3 in the morning, I'm still quite unsure whether this reflective feeling is due to the sense of personal connect, or maybe just a brilliant piece of storytelling paired with impeccable visuals. Although, I feel like it just might be a combination of the both. The manga is about 50 chapters long as of recording, so if anybody reads it, please leave a comment on your own thoughts on it. And well, that's it. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. Have a good day.